Palm trees, American flag, Florida, kids swimming, hot chicks, and hot chicks, Mom? And good times in scary times, right? I can't sit here and pretend that I ain't freaking worried about what's going on, because I'm just as worried as you guys are. And I've been through this. This is the third slowdown I've been through. And I can tell you it gets easier the more times you go through it. But at the end of the day, it's like building up a callus, right? For you young guys that are probably watching and following me and maybe freaking out, like, dude, I don't know if this is cut out for me. I don't know if I should do this. I don't know if I can handle this. I've been there. It definitely doesn't feel good, especially when it's the first time you're experiencing. I remember the first time I experienced a slowdown. Was it 26? I was, dude, I had a nervous breakdown, right? Because I had just opened up all kind of shops, just did all kind of stuff, just had my third child, just spent all my money to invest in these quick lube mechanic shops I had bought, and the house came falling down.
We had 2 houses and a piece of land.
We had, yeah, we had a lot of shit going on. We were wild and crazy, still are wild and crazy, but yeah, but we made it through. But I wanted to talk to you guys about what I've done that maybe give you some advice that can help you with what's going on and help you navigate this craziness that we're going through right now. I did hear some good news about 15 minutes ago from Trump. He just went live. He said that, what did he say, Pat? We're toward the latter part. It should be open. He's gonna have some really good news by tomorrow.
Yeah, I need to rewatch it.
Yeah, but basically things are about to get better, yeah. Right? But what's up, James, Colton, Steven, Michael, Luke, Clay? Yeah, so listen, what you're gonna have to realize is that right now, everybody, like all the losers, all the naysayers, all the people that fail, that are just like, they sit on the sidelines and they criticize, they're all hoping people fail. Like, I'm watching some of these comments and I'm like, I cannot believe that dude just said that. Like, they have these people on Facebook right now that are like waiting for people to fail so they can say, hey, I told you so, because see, it justifies their way of thinking, because they lose all the time and they're losers, right? Then they don't even try. They're spectators, right? They're freaking spectators. But you can't even, it's disgusting. It's pretty disgusting. But at the end of the day, you as an entrepreneur, you as somebody that's trying to do something with your life, trying to live a better life, there's one key hack that you can use to help you. What's up, Bobby Blue? One key hack that can help you get on the other side of entrepreneurship. And I've done it my whole life. And that one key word is disagree, right? I know it sounds like, oh, what? That's what you have to say, Chris? Yes, disagree. Disagree with your mom, disagree with your dad, disagree with your friends, your family, your environment that telling you can't do this, or you can't, see, I told you so, you can't, there's no way you can make this happen, you shouldn't start a business. Dude, if I'd have listened to everybody that told me I couldn't do this and I couldn't do that, or that's a stupid idea, or you shouldn't start that business, dude, I would have never went into business. I'd have never started I'd have never started any businesses, right? Or got into real estate. I remember the first time I started buying houses. I remember Mama telling me, oh, be careful, you shouldn't do that. Or even, not that she did it out of, because she wanted me to fail. She just, she's worried about me, right? And I had other people tell me, because they don't know and they don't understand, right? They don't know and they don't understand. But you have to learn, and it's a unique ability, you have to learn the art of disagreeing. Disagreeing with the universe, disagreeing with the circumstances, disagreeing with the environment. I remember when I first started, I was 22, I first started my first business out of the back of my truck, washing cars and changing oil out of the back of my truck, washing and waxes, doing tire rotations, going from people's house back and forth. I remember people laughing at me and telling me how stupid I was. Even family members, right? Even family members. And they, they would laugh at me to the point where it was like, it really hurt my feelings, but I just didn't give a two shits, and I just kept disagreeing and kept pushing forward. You got to keep disagreeing, right? The more you disagree, the more shit opens up and happens for you. If you agree with them, it's because they want you to be like them. Dude, entrepreneurship is a lonely journey. Entrepreneurship is it's not a group think, right? It's not a group think. It's an individual think. Meaning, the thinking is very, very individual in the sense that it's not going to be for somebody that thinks with the herd and moves with the crowd. Dude, as an entrepreneur, like you're like a lone wolf. And if you guys are young, maybe you're 20 years old, maybe you're 30, dude, you're going to have to be a lone wolf, right? You're a lone shark, because nobody's going to agree with you starting a business. Nobody's going to agree with you taking a chance. Nobody's going to agree with you. Now, this doesn't mean that every time you disagree that everything's going to happen great for you, right? Everything's just going to go smooth for you. It's just not how it is. You are going to have some hiccups. You are going to have some failures. I had a failure, 3 weeks ago. I lost a good amount of money. But I've also made a lot of money, right? By disagreeing. It's a long game, right? It's a long game of disagreeing and going for your hopes and dreams and not agreeing with what other people think that you should do with your own life. They're telling you that because they've given up. They're telling you to not do something because if you do it and they haven't done it, or maybe they have tried and they failed, then it makes them wrong by you being right. Because if you make it and you're right, it makes them wrong, right? Because they think your win is their loss, guys. It's basic psychology. It's groupthink. It's the herd mentality. People think that if other people win, that they must be wrong, and it makes them lose, right? I can't see your guys' comments because every now and then my phone doesn't let me see comments. Let me see what I tell my wife. Hey, Patty, I can't see comments. Come bring me your phone. But dude, this biggest hack has like helped me so much, like with disagreeing and telling circumstances to basically fuck off, right? You just got to keep disagreeing. If you disagree for long enough, you will make it through to the other side of your dreams, because at the other side of your dreams, you gotta crawl and run through shit, right? Criticism, people bashing you, people telling you can't do it, and if you don't have the unique mindset and ability to disagree with that and keep going for what you want, dude, you're gonna agree. Because as soon as you start agreeing with them is when you give up. You're gonna just, oh yeah, Jim was right, or my dad was right, or my mom or my brother or my friends are right. I should have never did that. Dude, you can't agree. Like, you better disagree and keep disagreeing. Patty, I can't see any comments.
I just need a second.
Hey, you might disagree with what I'm telling you right now. You know what? I don't care. I'm still gonna keep on doing lives. I'm gonna keep giving content. I'm gonna keep telling you how I feel. I'm gonna keep giving you my journey as an entrepreneur and what I've experienced. It hadn't been pretty. It hadn't always been great. But if you play the long game for long enough, you'll win over time. You just got to make calculated decisions over time. Now, I'm not saying you can't be smart and you can be stupid about things. Like, you can't overextend or overreach to the point where you put so much money or capital on the line that if you lose it, you're done, right? That's gambling. Like, whatever money I put up, I'm willing to lose in a calculated risk that it won't take me down, right? And the better odds I have, the more money I'll risk. But at the end of the day, it takes courage to do that. It takes some smarts. It takes you to disagree, right? Average entrepreneur, only 1 in 10 entrepreneurs. I need to see the comments, Patty. I'm disagreeing with my wife right now. I'm about to whoop that butt.
I was booking the condo.
What? Booking the condo? You're lucky you're a hot mama, because I would, yeah.
You would what?
I would disagree with you.
Yeah.
That's what I would do.
Yeah.
Anyway, guys, where's the comments, Patty, for the 4th time?
I'm looking for your
Jeez.
stream. I'm not watching you. I don't watch you.
She don't watch me. She watches enough of me.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I've had enough of him.
Got good news though from Trump though. They're supposed to release all this here, I think, in the next 2 to 4 weeks.
We need to go back and watch it. We just saw a short portion.
Yep.
Okay.
What's the comments, Patty? Tell me. Maybe you disagree with me. You probably should.
As GC says, you need to commit. And
Yep.
then somebody else says adaptation. We are on the same wavelength, says Bill.
Yep.
Rood for president, says Bill. I like Bill.
Bill, I really like you. I'm agreeing with you, Bill. I'm gonna agree with you. I'm not gonna disagree with you.
Bill said, if you want some bulletproof vests, let me know.
Dude, I may need some. I may need to get some. I think that's the only thing I'm missing in my arsenal. But you know, guys, at the end of the day, you know, you may be listening to me and you're like, oh, this dude's full of shit because, like, I've lost my job. I have not a whole lot of money saved. I don't know what to do. Dude, you're going to have to stand up and what? Disagree. And you're like, well, I don't have any resources right now. Dude, like, you still have resources, right? You still have options and you still have opportunities. There's still economies inside of this economy that has a collapse that are still working, right? The grass is still growing that needs to be cut. Cars are being driven that's going to be washed. Now, what businesses are going to be the most valuable right now? Service-based business. The businesses that are the hardest to do, right? Service-based business, labor jobs. Like, dude, start a pressure washing business. Start a washing cars. Start a lawn service. Start a lawn and garden service, like landscaping. There's so many different businesses if you sit down and really think that you can do to disagree with this. Now, it takes you getting off your ass and going out there, like a painting. Like, you could do door to door and say, hey man, I'll paint your house for half of what it costs a professional painter. Like, just drop your prices or just do it for half of what somebody else would do, right? Like, you're gonna have to get super resourceful right now, right? Super resourceful. But what's up, Credit Carl, Chad, Bobby, Chuck, Everlyn, Mario, Jack. But at the end of the day, guys, like, you got to disagree. Let me give you some examples of disagreeing, right? It's weird the way the universe works. It seems like everything works in reverse. Meaning, what you want, you can't have. What you want to get, it's hard to get. It's always the reverse. Meaning, so let me give you an example, right? Of disagreeing, right? So, I'm gonna give you an example of Big Mama, right? Big Mama, I've always been in love with Big Mama since I was in high school. She was older than me.
I was not always in love with you.
She wasn't always in love with me. But I used to tell my friends that I'm gonna marry that girl one day. Now, finally, when I got a little bit older and a little bit more sexier, I wasn't such a kid, started growing some hair on my chest, she started giving me some attention. But then I disagreed with her. She actually tried to hook up with me in Florida one time, or somewhere you tried to hook, and I said, I don't want nothing to do with you. I disagreed with her, and what happened? She chased me like a scolded ape. She chased me. Why? Because I disagreed with her. The same way you're gonna have to disagree with other people that tell you you can't have something, or you can't get a business, or you can't start a business. It's the same concept. Like, you gotta disagree with people. Like, there's something special, something mystical and magical about disagreeing, because it's like a hey, fuck you, I'm gonna get what I want, right? Excuse my language. But that's how the universe works. Like, if it's funny when you disagree, doors open up. It's the strangest thing. And maybe you've experienced that, maybe you haven't, maybe you think I'm full of shit, maybe I am, who knows? I just know it's worked for me. Any questions?
Bill says, I want my skills to get the deals hat. I've been asking for years. We are out. Like, we don't have one left.
No? I thought we just ordered a bunch.
We mailed the last one.
Well, we need to order some more, Mama. Yep.
He did say, he says, you're woke.
Oh, I'm a woke.
He been woke.
I've been woke. I've been woke for at least since I was 22. I've been woke. I've been woke a long time.
Chris is on a mission of truth.
I'm so woke. If you hang around with me too long, you may disagree with me.
He will drive you crazy.
You will disagree with me.
He will drive you crazy.
I'll drive you crazy. You'll think I'm a crazy person, and because I hardly eat, I barely sleep. All I do is work, and I disagree. Right?
It's like those things in the little wheel.
I'm like a squirrel chasing its tail. Like, I'm like the little rat thing. I don't stop. Like, I don't agree with what's going on. I don't agree with society. I don't agree. I don't homeschool my kids. I don't believe in college, even though I have a college degree.
That was to
I don't
make our
believe in
parents happy.
medication. I don't believe in vaccines. I don't believe in government, limited government. I do believe in some, but limited government. I don't believe in what they're doing now. Like I don't agree with all kind of stuff, right? And neither should you, dude. Like look at where we're at in society as a whole, right? Look at where we're at. We got all our kids on medication. I was on medication as a kid. It practically ruined me.
We don't have our kids.
I don't have my kids on any medication. Like, you got half, all these half. What is it? 1 in 3 kids now are having autism.
It's bad.
It's unbelievable. Where do you think that's coming
medicated.
from? And
A lot
then
of kids
half the
in
kids that
schools
go
are
to school are medicated.
And they will pressure
Oh,
you.
I think it's
till
1/3. Yeah, they're pressuring kids to get on Adderall, Ritalin, all this crazy shit. Dude, you know what Adderall and Ritalin is? It's meth. It's legal methamphetamine. It's crystal meth for kids. Look it up. I used to be on it. It's craziness.
And what did it do to you?
It made me batshit crazy.
Turned you into
It turned me in. Yeah, I started doing drugs when I was a younger.
Because you needed a fix.
It gave me.
It's just a fix.
It's a fix.
That's all
That's
it
all it is. But they say, but my kid does better when he's on Adderall and Ritalin and all this. Yeah, because he's high. He's high on drugs. Give me some crystal meth and I'll show you. I'll be super focused for like 3 or 4 hours too. But then when you get off of it, you can't eat, you can't sleep, you're irritable. You have this zombie personality.
Then you have to take medicine to sleep.
It turns you
You
into
have
a
to take
person that you
medicine
not
to eat.
are. Then you can't eat. Dude, it's fucking insanity. It's fucking insanity. Now they're rolling out all these vaccines. Get ready, guys. Get ready. Get in line to get your vaccinations. It's coming. Get ready, because they're already rolling it out, right? We had a problem. We had a huge reaction. They're rolling out a solution. So get ready. It's coming. Make sure you take it. Get in line. Get in line with the rest of the sheep, because it's coming. It's absolute insanity. What, Asa?
Oh, gross.
Dude.
So
we saw a bug.
Dude, you're
Underwear.
in
And
your
then
underwear
a
swimming.
lizard
Dude, you're going to get me in Facebook jail. They're going to think I'm
and
a...
out of the nowhere, a lizard comes out of the bushes and eats the bug and brings it back to the
That was your science for the day.
There you go, dude. All right. Anyway, guys, I can't see any comments, Patty.
Let's see.
But
crazy and obsessed is good.
that's right. Yeah, it's funny. As a kid, I was crazy. I was a crazy kid, like a lot of you guys that are entrepreneurs. Which it's funny. I'll tell a story later we go on live. But as a younger kid, I was batshit crazy. Like I was in a good way. I was just fucking like full of energy, full of life. And they said, "Hey, that kid's got too much energy. That kid is too bright, right? Let's throw him on some Ritalin and Adderall, slow him down. He can't concentrate. He can't sit in class for 8 hours a day. There's something wrong with him. He's got ADD and ADHD, and he's dyslexic, and he's this and he's that, right? Dude, it's fucking insanity, right? They got all these kids on drugs, on legal drugs, and they have all these big pharmaceutical companies making billions of dollars and turning your kids into drug addicts. If you don't like it, if you don't like to hear the truth, hey, dude, unfollow me. Because I ain't talking from some ivory tower where I read some. Dude, I was that kid.
This was
that was my life.
That was close. You almost lost your life. He almost lost his life several times, and it all stemmed to the Adderall. It's just the truth.
It gets you on Adderall and Ritalin, which is crystal meth, and then you need other stuff to get a fix.
It turns into who you are, because it's all you know, especially when you put on it so young. So it's like,
8
okay,
years
where's
old.
my fix? Where's my fix?
8 years
Where's my
old, they
fix?
put me on that
well,
shit.
when Adderall wasn't enough, then it was ecstasy. Then it was cocaine.
Ecstasy,
then
yeah.
it was this. It's like, where's my next fix? Like, that's not a way. You have to treat this the source.
I don't know why this live got into disagreeing, and now we're talking about Adderall and Ritalin and craziness and vaccines, but
Because it's all crazy.
it's all craziness. I don't agree, and that's where it goes back. I disagree. Like, I disagree with everything that this country in a plant. Like, the baby's all right, dude. You got to disagree. Just because a psychologist or a psychiatrist tells you that your kid's hyper and he can't sit in class and conjugate nouns all day because he can't sit still, it does not mean that you need to put your kids on crystal meth, right?
But
Just be-
I have to say, as a parent, you literally get harassed.
harassed, yeah.
I cannot tell you how much I cried throughout the last 16 years in the school system because I was so pressured. Like, I was bashed, I was pressured. I was told I was a bad parent because I wouldn't put my kid on drugs. I tried every school. Like, it's so much pressure on the parents, and they don't know what to do. So they just feel like there's no other way than to have to do that.
Yep. And I know we're not the only parents that go through that. I know a lot of other parents struggle with teachers. I mean, at the end of the day, like, do teachers have it rough? Like, they hardly pay teachers anything. Then they got to sit in a room with kids, 35 kids. Some of them are super hyperactive. And they try to make a standard set of learning that is universal for every kid when every kid is different. There's different ways that different kids learn. Like, I don't learn the same way that, say, some other kid learns. And why are we universally putting all of our kids in the same method of learning, right?
Same box.
Same box. Dude,
And the box is freaking
the
small.
box is, yeah, the box is small.
And it's getting smaller and smaller.
Dude, homeschool is like booming right now. Homeschool is booming. Why? Because they realize that the modern day education is not like, it's failing kids, right? It's failing kids to the point where homeschool is becoming the new norm. That was the smartest thing we ever did, was homeschool our kids, right? We should have done it earlier. Let's call it for what it is. What is government schooling right now? These government it's government indoctrination camps. It's prison camps for kids. Let's call it for what it is, right? Call it for what it is. You know, you got these kids that are so bright, but just because they can't pass calculus or frickin' algebra 2, they're labeled slow, or they're not. Dude, what happened to like teaching kids like real skills? Like I read an article today. So I think a year ago we had $1.3 trillion in student debt that couldn't be paid off. It's up to 1.6 trillion. 1.6 trillion student debt that can't be paid off. Kids going to college can't pay it, right? They get a job making $40,000-$50,000 a year. They can hardly pay their car note, insurance, house note, and they gotta still pay their school tuition of $500-$600 a month, which takes them forever, right? Dude, it's failed. It's a failed system. You know, so you know, at the end of the day, like, dude, you got to disagree, right? You got to disagree with the world. You got to disagree with the. Just because somebody tells you that you have to do that, or that's the certain way that you got to do it, why are you disagreeing? Why are you agreeing with that, right? Disagree and do what you feel is the right thing for your kids. Like, it's your kids, right? It's not the government's kids, it's your kids. If you look and see who actually started the government indoctrination camps, you know, your modern day schooling system, dude, David Rockefeller, along with a few others, actually invented the modern day school system. They didn't create school to help you learn. They created school to help create employees, right? They don't want you to learn too much because you might get too smart. The schooling system is not made to empower people. It's made to make you learn enough to be a good, nice employee slave, right? So it makes you think. You got to disagree, guys. Like, you can't agree with everything. You know, you wake up on this planet one day and you're sent to school. You're told things are a certain way, and you just agree with it all day long. You keep agreeing and agreeing and agreeing to the point where you become, you know, almost a slave, right? It's crazy. I wish I could see you guys' comments. What's up, Junior? What's up, Kyle? Miss D, what's going on? Love you, Miss D. Mike, Frank, Jerry, Elizabeth, Fernando. Give me your thoughts on this, right? Am I speaking from my ass, or does this message resonate with you? Because for me, all I've done my whole life is disagree. All I've done. I've disagreed with what people told me the way I should act, what I should say, how I should do it. Pat, I need to.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You,
I already answered Zeb. He asked if we homeschool. Yes, we have a private teacher that helps us homeschool our curriculum. More problems with the third world countries, but we have abundance in natural and agri resources. Will said that's his exact story. It's
Yep.
a lot of people's story.
It's a lot of
That's
people's
what people
story.
don't want to.
Dude, some of my best friends from high school,
Exactly.
dude, are all still messed up on drugs. And it started with Adderall and Ritalin. They got them on that and they got hooked. They become adults and they can't get off of that shit when they get older because then they've been having their fix their whole life, right? Dude, you better disagree. You better disagree with the world, do you know internally? Do your own research. Like, stop taking everybody's word for it. Like, do research.
I think that's why people get so
offended.
angry
They get
and
offended.
that we do the things. But we both had personal experiences, and that's why you can't change our minds. Like, know we've been there.
Dude,
we
I've
got
been
the
there.
T-shirt.
I got a statue. Like,
Yeah.
you're not gonna tell me. It's not something I've just like. I lived that life, right? I've experienced that at firsthand knowledge, right? So I disagree, right? I've disagreed my whole life with everything. I've had to have an awareness, and I've always been a soul searcher of like, what's the truth? What's really going on? Like, why are things, like, question everything, guys. Why are things the way they are, right? Who benefits? Who benefits from everything, right? Learn to disagree and watch what happens. It ain't gonna be easy. It takes some courage. It's gonna take some fortitude, some personal integrity. But once you some tough skin, because you will get criticized.
People will judge you.
You will get criticized.
Oh, yeah.
You be told you're a weirdo.
You don't know what
You
you're
don't know
doing.
what you're doing. Yeah. Well, who are you? You're a doctor.
Yeah.
No, I'm the guy that the doctor was prescribing all the meds to. Idiot.
That got drugged. They almost died.
Yeah. So you just got to be careful, right? You got to be careful where you get your information from, who you listen to, who you're agreeing with, who you disagreeing with. And if it's true for you, it's true, right? If it's true for you, it's true. Like, that's one thing that I was taught as a younger adult, when I was 22, 23. Some wise man once told me, he said, he didn't tell me, I read it. He said, if it's true for you, it's true. If it's not true, it's not, right? So if what I'm telling you may disagree with it, and it's just not true, right? So it may not be true for you.
Clayton says what's up, but he told me what's up first.
Clayton, you got a secret crush on my wife. Dude, you can have her. Listen, you can have her. You can just, you'll pay me for her. They're like, you'll pay me and then you're going to want a refund. You can have her, seriously. She's high maintenance. She disagrees with everything I tell her.
Will you pay my car notes?
Yeah. Yeah, see, so what would it take to have you? You would pay your car notes?
Pay the Range Rover note?
Yeah, pay the Range Rover note. Yeah, no, it's funny. Love you, man. Hope you're doing good through all this craziness. We just talking mindset right now, right? And you know, you'll figure out it, the longer you disagree, the more people will agree with you. That's the strange thing about it, right? The more you disagree, you'll figure out people will start agreeing with you, because most people are sheep, guys. Most people follow the herd. They do what somebody else tells them because they think that they're just supposed to do that, right? But if you just, you know, this is the perfect time to disagree right now. Like, disagree with what's going on. Like, just say, fuck it. I'm gonna keep doing what I'm doing, or I'm gonna get through this, right? I'm gonna make it through this, right? This is the third slowdown I've went through, and dude, it was scary to get through the first two. You know, this is still scary right now. I still have moments where I'm like, fuck, what's gonna happen? We gonna lose everything? You know, it's crazy. You know, if we don't go back to work, and you know, if 60-70% of Americans don't go back to work in the next 3 or 4 months, what does that look like economically, right? What does that look like? 10,000 people filed for unemployment this week. 10,000 people.
10,000 people?
I'm sorry, 10 million.
Okay, I was going to say.
Yeah, that's not a lot. 10 million people, yeah. 10 million people filed for unemployment. What do you do though, right? What do you do? It tells you, even me, like I was telling my wife, like we got to have a new operating basis. Like we got to get a lot leaner. We got to get some bad debt that we have off. I've got debt right now that I've been carrying since the second crash I went through in 2014. I got a shop right now that I've been losing 15 grand a month on, 14 to 15 grand a month on for 6 years. I've been carrying as bad debt. 6 years. You know what I could have did with 15 grand times 12 times 6? What is that? Do the
I don't want to know.
You don't even want to know.
I don't want to know.
And then on top of that, I had some bad debt on some single family homes I should have never bought because I didn't know how to go direct to seller, and I didn't know how to buy it at a super discount. Because right now, if you guys, you got to learn, and for you guys that just got into real estate, you were probably me 6-7 years ago buying deals on a paper thin margin. You got to buy so cheap. Why? Because you got to make it through you got to make it through a time like this. And if you didn't buy super cheap, like if you didn't, like, it's got to be almost legalized theft in a sense, because if you don't buy cheap enough, dude, you're going to get hosed in times like this. Like the properties I bought in the past 6 years, I bought so cheap, I paid such a discounted price for them because I knew how to go direct to seller, because I knew this was going to happen again. I'm not worried about any of those properties, right? And if you're watching this, maybe you bought properties and you're like, shit, I paid too much for them. It's going to be a learning lesson for you. You're going to have to take a loss and a haircut on them. I did on the properties I bought, 8 years ago, right? 8 to 9 years ago. I'm still paying for those properties to this day because I didn't pay cheap enough. But I got it. But in the
wholesaling saved us.
The wholesaling saved us, right?
That's
and you
all
better
we
learn how to
do.
diversify right now. You better start you better learn how to pivot and have a second, third, and fourth hustle on the side, right? I'm still like thinking in my mind, hey, how can I get another hustle going? How can I? And I've been doing that for the past 6 years. I've set myself up with a bunch of streams of income on top of covering a bunch of bad debt I had from when the second crash I went through in 2014, where my shops almost went under. I was able to sell all of them but one. Like I said, I'm still paying debt on. I'm still losing 14, 15 grand. I'm gonna probably lose more on that property now with everything that's going on. But it tells you, like, dude, you just never know. Like, you cannot depend on one thing. And technology, as fast as technology is moving, dude, you can get wiped out quick. You got to put your hands in a bunch of different things. Keep your hands in different games, right?
Arden, look at me.
Play the game of diversification. You can't be dependent on one thing. No way, right? What's wrong? What's wrong, Patty?
Oh, okay. I was like, it looked like
I
a
thought you saw a
spider.
snake or something.
I thought
We got a bunch of snakes we've been seeing around here. We already killed a couple of them, but
We saw one snake.
oh, we saw 3 snakes.
Patty, are you gonna tell me questions?
Oh, I don't have any new ones. Oh, Joe
What's up, Jared?
says you have to. It's the only way to be successful. It's so true.
Dude, it's so true. Like, I read stories back in the 50s and 60s, of how well Americans did. The middle class was so strong. The middle class was so strong, and now, like, dude, they're wiping out the middle class. Like, what's left of the middle class. You used to better get a job, and the mom would stay home and raise the babies, and the dad would work, and that was enough to pay for everything, and you could have a great life. Like, how have we got to a point where the mom, the dad, both have to work and both have to have multiple streams of income? How did we get to that place in America, in the world? Why? Inflation, right? Monetary, banking monetary being very irresponsible in the sense of printing money like crazy. Patty, what are you doing? Dude, what are you doing? Being very irresponsible, printing money, inflation, taking us off the gold standard. And I'm not saying we have to go back to the gold standard. We should, because then an ounce of gold would be, what, $10,000 an ounce if we went back to the gold standard? But at the end of the day, things have changed since like the 50s and 60s and 70s. I mean,
Just having kids.
I mean, you can't hardly afford kids. I mean, everybody has one kid or two kids. I was reading a study the other day. Japanese men are not wanting to have sex with Japanese women because they're scared to get them pregnant because they can't get jobs. So their population is losing. They're losing massive growth in their population because they're worried that they can't afford to have kids. It's the craziest thing, right? So what has happened to our economy and the world economy at large is that inflation has outmaneuvered or exacerbated our way of out creating it through our work, right? We can't even make enough money to pay the modern day bills. Like, it's craziness, like, right? I mean, there is the middle class is getting hosed, and the middle class is going to get hosed really bad. Look at that white one. That's a pretty car.
That's a new one.
No, that's not.
Oh, that's a Ferrari.
Yeah. But what's up, Mr. Mike Carson, Daniel, Ryan, Chris? But what's your thoughts on all this? You know, I'm kind of talking about stuff that's kind of controversial, right? It's not exactly. Get to Asa to come back over here. He's way down there with
come back over here.
with the what? Why do you have the?
He's trying to catch lizards.
Dude, he's catching lizards.
Come over here, Asa.
Anyway, you know, right now you should question everything because there's a lot of craziness going on. You should definitely question what's going on because this ain't normal. This ain't normal to shut down the whole country over. And listen, now it's crazy because, you know, now they're saying, oh, wait, it's not as bad as we thought it was going to be. Maybe only 60,000 people are going to die. What? First it was 200,000, but so we shut down the whole country. A third of the workforce is about to get laid off or almost laid off, and now they're saying it's not going to be that bad. What? Dude, it makes no sense.
Well, they're gonna say it's because we made you all sick.
Oh, and then I'm reading reports and I'm listening to doctors online saying that every person that dies now, they're saying it's from, even if you died of a heart attack or stroke or you tripped and fell and broke your hip and had an aneurysm or whatever, you died of the beer from Mexico, right? Absolute insanity. But anyway, if you get me started, if I keep talking, I'm gonna get flagged and I'm gonna get banned and then I may get myself in trouble with a few of you guys because you guys are drinking that Kool-Aid and y'all drinking a lot of it, and I don't drink the Kool-Aid. I disagree. And if you guys are just jumping on, the whole point of this live is for you to disagree with everything that's going on. Disagree with the mainstream media. Don't disagree with your wife. Don't disagree with your wife? Yeah, no. Sometimes you gotta disagree with your wife.
Mm-hmm. Bill Gates wants a digital footprint to go along with his vaccine.
Yep. It's great. How does a guy that makes computers an authority
on health
on vaccinations? Right? He's the biggest funder. Aiden, you want to get on? Like, I'll get. Like, he's trying to get on. Like, there you go. Say hey, Aiden. Say hey. Say hey. Say hey, Aiden. Hey. The World Health Organization. Guess who the #1 funder of that is? You got it, Mr. Fence. I can't say his word because I don't want you got to use keywords. Mr. Fence. When I say Mr. Fence, I mean GATE.
My phone died. So
your phone died? Okay.
Can't see
when I say Mr. Fence, first name BILL, Gates, right? Biggest funder of the World Health Organization. So now he's pushing vaccines. So get ready, get in line. We're going to be all getting vaccinations soon. Just make sure you disagree. And disagree.
I won't be bending over.
I ain't taking it, but if you want to get in line and you want to agree with everything that's going on, hey, get in line. Get in line because I've never taken any of those ever. I've never taken, you know, the funny thing is I've never had a flu shot ever. And I haven't had the flu since, I had the flu one time in my life in 7th grade. And I've never, ever taken a flu shot, ever. And I was talking to some people that do take the flu shots all the time and they get the flu like every other year. But they think if they keep taking it, maybe they won't catch it every other year. They'll just catch it maybe every 3rd year. So it's kind of weird. Like, I don't get it. I don't really get it, right? I don't necessarily understand that fact, but look into it, right? Don't agree with me. Disagree with me and check into it. It's a proven fact. The more you take the flu vaccination, the higher chance you are of catching the flu. But hey, what do I know? I'm just a stupid old guy from South Louisiana that's telling you something that you may not agree with, right? So do your own homework and disagree with me, and I'll see you on the next live. And keep disagreeing. Peace.